guys, welcome back to another new episode of R&D Garage. I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, commenting, sharing, and liking all of our videos. And of course, everybody who's been there since the beginning, thank you so much for continuing to join me on my car journey. Okay, so thinking back, sometimes if we don't have enough parts or don't have enough cars to work on, like you guys know that's not the truth. But you know, sometimes when we're waiting for parts, I like to do walkarounds of cars. Like we did Blueberry, we did the Mini, we did Grandpa Truck. I think actually we've done every single car except the Lotus. So that's gonna change today. I'm gonna tell you the story of how we got her, and then I'm gonna give you guys a long, loving look of what she looks like on the inside, and we're gonna take her for a test drive, both with the top up and the top down. So if you've been considering a Lotus, incorporating a Lotus into your everyday life, I'm gonna show you why this may or may not be a good idea. Stay tuned. Okay, so this is a 2005 Lotus Elise, and we bought her back in, I want to say 2008 or 2009. It was basically the downturn of the economy, and we were looking on eBay. We had just bought, a year before that, a BMW 335i, which if you know BMWs, they're wonderful to drive when they're working well, and when they break down, it's a different story. And basically our little lemon BMW had been in the shop about 35 days out of the year, so we knew it was time to get rid of her. Anyway, the BMW dealership ended up buying her back, which was perfect. So we basically had this wad of cash to spend on cars. And so Dion was looking on eBay, he was looking on Craigslist, Auto Trader, all the different, car sites back in the day. And then this gorgeous beauty popped up. So she's basically an LA car. We flew down, picked her up, drove her home, super fun, but who owned her is a whole different story. So she was bought brand new by a Beverly Hills plastic surgeon who then put about $25,000 into her and then was teased unmercifully by his friends because it was not a Ferrari. So his loss was our gain, most definitely, and we got a heck of a deal. So come a little closer. I want to show you what's on her. So this car came fully loaded from the factory for this guy. First of all, it has the lifestyle color of chrome orange, absolutely gorgeous, can't miss it on the road. It has the powder coated rims, LSS rims. She's also got the touring package, the sport package, and basically everything you see, almost everything you see is aftermarket. So let's come a little closer so I can show you even more. So here are a couple more pieces that are super cool. So all the carbon fiber. We have carbon fiber scoops on the side, gorgeous. We have carbon fiber center console, including the shift knob and the e-brake handle. And they even powder coated the little gas door here. Talk about making a car your own. The original owner even swapped out what is regularly a red reflector light for a little Lotus piece here. He changed out the regular grommets for these guys. Just everything to make that car yours, and we're so glad he did. So you'll notice we also have stickers to spell out Lotus rather than kind of like a regular metal logo, which is super cool. And then of course we have aftermarket exhaust with the European split style grille. And then we have a carbon fiber splitter. Check this out. Twing. So if you're wondering if you can fit golf clubs or anything into the back of a Lotus, let's check that out. Well, I'm thinking no. We've got Dee's bag in here. This is also the battery where you can turn off the battery right here. So usually between drives, we shut this guy off because it has a tendency to not want to start sometimes because it's basically a little tiny motorcycle battery. So yeah, and of course, mid-engine car, we've got her right there. She's basically it's the motor out of a Celica GTS. So you know she's gonna run forever. Let me show you how I get into the car. So just so you know, obviously it's easy for me to get into and out of just about any car out there. With the roof off, it's a little bit of a cheat, but it is a lot easier for you tall fellas and ladies and gentlemen out there who want to get into a Lotus. So basically, I hope you're up to date on your yoga poses, first of all. So we basically press the little lock button right here. And then what I like to do is basically stick my right foot in, let's say we're getting into the driver's side here. Let your butt fall into the seat, pull in the other leg, and shut the door. Yay, let's go for a drive. So, you've arrived at your destination. How the heck do I get out of this car? And actually, I have a funny story about that. I'll try to tell it in like 3 sentences or less. But I went for a walk in my old neighborhood about 10 years ago while we still had the car. There was this little old lady that I absolutely love, and she'd always scream and say hi. Well, I showed up in this car, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's James Bond." And I said, "Let me give you a ride." And so she got in pretty easy. She's a little kind of a round woman, but literally I had to yank her out from under her armpits to get her out of the car, which wasn't fun, but it was still totally, totally worth it. And she still talks about it. So love you. Okay, not that she watches my channel, but it doesn't matter. So how do we get out? Okay, so I'm sitting here. We're gonna pull the door handle right down here. Swing the door wide without hitting anything else. And basically reverse the process. And luckily there's this nice hard plastic that you can kind of sit on along the way. But that's it. Yay! So back to the original owner and more of the gorgeous parts he put on. So when he owned this car for all of 3 months or whatever, or I guess about a year, he took it to a SoCal speed shop. I'm not sure which one, but he had coilovers put on, he had it slightly lowered, he had it corner balanced, and so this is just like the perfect little go-kart that you can imagine. Everybody loves getting rides in this car. The only people that can drive it, however, are myself and Dee. Sorry guys. But anyway, one more thing. We did actually have a carbon splitter in front, like a front lip splitter. And within a week on these horrible, horrible Sonoma County roads, one day on the highway, it was all tink, shatter, 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 shatter. So it was basically like a carbon fiber Dorito left over. Yeah, it still hurts to think about that, but it happens. You guys know it happens. Okay, as you guys can see, the foot box is a little bit tight. Even for me, I kind of have big feet for being so short. I'm about a 7.5, and you can see that even with my feet, it can be a little bit hard to basically get out of my own way. We've got the gas pedal here. We've got the brake pedal and the little itty bitty clutch. And we've even got like a heel and toe pad on the brake pedal there so that it basically aligns up with the gas pedal, which is really, really cool. However, if you're someone who also has really big feet or maybe a wide foot, you may want to either second guess actually getting a Lotus or try to find a pair of slim shoes, let's say like racing shoes or Pumas. So I guess this part is just kind of a word of caution. And yes, I know that the car is filthy right now. Sorry, guys. So another word of caution, if you get a Lotus, everybody's going to want to ride. When you take someone for a ride, you better like them maybe a little bit more than just friends, because this is basically how close you're going to be sitting next to that person. There's like no space whatsoever. Good thing I like you. So here's one more view. Dee's about a 10.5 in his Converse there. And you can see, obviously, sometimes even he has issues with overlap. So basically the phrase of the Lotus would be fixed positioning, at least for the cabin. So you can see these are all one style bucket races. There's almost no padding whatsoever. This isn't a fixed position. You cannot pull this seat forward. You can pull this one forward, which is awesome. There's still, I wish you could go up further, maybe even just ½ an inch, because I still find myself trying to reach the pedals once in a while. There's obviously, you can't really adjust the seat much more than that, although there is a little bulb on the side that kind of inflates the lumbar. To be honest, I've never really used it because I don't know if it does much, but it is there. Again, The steering column is fixed. It does not have any tilt whatsoever. And that, combined with leaning back in the seat a bit, has me sometimes driving a little bit with my nose up in the air, which probably just even more gives me that look of, oh, she thinks she's so cool, she's in the Lotus. But no, I'm just like literally trying to see over the steering wheel like my grandma used to. So yeah, so that's basically the comfort of the bolsters. And oh yes, before I forget, if you're a little bit of a thick boy or girl and these seats can be kind of uncomfortable. I've given rides to various friends and some of them have said, wow, I can't imagine riding in this more than 10 minutes. The ones who are maybe about my size or even just a little bit bigger, they're okay with it. But again, this is not a real good road trip car if you're going to be sitting in it for more than a couple hours. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to show you basically how to start the car up. So you'll notice on the fob, there's two buttons here, one bigger and one smaller. This is super important when starting her up. So obviously make sure the battery's on in the trunk. You can stick it in the keyhole right here. And before I do anything else, I'm going to do my usual routine, which is push the seat all the way up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, put one foot on the brake, one on the clutch. I always like to make sure she's in neutral, just in case. Now we're going to go ahead and turn the key. There's not going to be a click. This is basically what you want to see, all the lights lighting up. And now it's like, why aren't you starting me up? So basically, hit the bigger button, and then there's an engine start button right over here. And boom! We're ready to go. Okay, so let's say you finished your drive. You're wondering how the heck to get out of the car, because when you're sitting down, the handle is almost impossible to see. It's literally in the furthest corner of the car where you least expect it, but that's what's gonna let you out. Please, for the love of God, do not climb out of your Lotus like, oh, what was that old show? Dukes of Hazzard. Do not climb in and out of your Lotus Dukes of Hazzard style. Although it'd be kind of cool. So we've got a couple more aftermarket items on this car. We've got aftermarket speakers to go along with the deck that actually came with it. Both are crap. But basically when you're driving a Lotus, I feel like you don't really need to listen to the radio anyway, because you're going to be enjoying the nice breeze in your hair and basically everything else, the sound of the exhaust. He also got it tuned, which was nice. He had a cold air intake in it, which unfortunately we had to take off because, oh yeah, back there, I'm so used to pointing to the front of the car. It's a mid-engine car. So we had to take it off for smog. And he also has aggressive street track style brake pads, which definitely helps because this little car, it's rear wheel drive, and you can imagine in corners when you're kind of throwing it around, you definitely need those brakes. You definitely, yeah, it's just such a good handling car. Oh my gosh, let's just take it out. Let's show them how it gets driven here, okay? Let's go. Okay guys, you ready for that test drive? Let's do it. So I may not talk a whole lot. I'm gonna go ahead and first roll up the windows so you get kind of a feeling of what it's like to be in this cabin with the roof off, or I guess the targa top. So, let's do it. And I'm not gonna cut anybody off. We're gonna be safe. Okay. So this car is definitely like a little go-kart. You definitely feel every nook and cranny of the road. And as you can see, it's actually, well, no, it's loud in here. But I'm kind of half deaf, and so I don't actually mind because I can't really hear it anyway. But yeah, it's just super fun. Remember, wear sunscreen. And this is a 6-speed. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And it's funny because reverse is all the way towards the left and not the right. And so, which I believe the STI is as well. And so with our 8 cars, sometimes it's a little confusing getting into one and remembering, okay, this is 6-speed, no, this is 5-speed, don't hit reverse on the highway in the taggy, but it's all in fun. And once the car is warm a little, you'll hear its version, I guess the Toyota version of VTEC. Is it iTech, iVTEC, something like that. And of course, gotta rep the Giants. To be honest, I don't follow much sports. I just really like the fact that the hat matched the car. To go, which way do you think I should go? Okay. And this car is such a crowd pleaser. Most of the time, if you find yourself driving a Lotus, people will not know what the heck this little car is. They'll think maybe it's a Lamborghini, they'll think it's a Ferrari, they'll think, I've even had it referred to as like a baby McLaren, which is really, really cool. And the last time myself and my buddy Nick were out in it, we went to the beach and we actually had an orange McLaren wave at us, which we were both just like, woo! So that was kind of cool. But you can see we got up and went pretty quick. The other funny thing about this car is I don't know what it is, but whenever I'm stopped at a light and the top is off, I have people asking me where the nearest Starbucks is. It's like, guys, come on. But, you know, of course I do know where the nearest Starbucks is, so I help them out, even though I know it's a joke. Whatever. We like our iced coffee. So let's kind of roll down the windows just to give you guys an idea of what it actually sounds like with them down. Not much difference. It's obviously a little bit more blowy in here, but honestly, it's also about 90 degrees today and it feels fantastic. So I'm not mad at them. Give you guys another chance to hear. And I'm not advocating speed racing on the street at all. Just want to give you guys a little bit more of that tone of the exhaust. Oh, what a sound. Okay guys, we're gonna cut out and I'm going to show you what the ride is like with the top back on the car. Hope you're loving this. Okay, so in the event that you don't want to ride in a convertible anymore, don't get a Lotus. But anyway, at any rate, I'm going to show you how the little cloth top goes on. So the first thing I like to do is open both doors. Just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, now the second thing I'm going to do is put this down so I have enough arms. So I'll put it down like this. Okay, so first you got to do these little, I guess, balancing bars or kind of struts. And you'll notice they're extremely dirty, but they have arrows. That means those arrows go towards the front of the car. So the first one pops in. They have these little slots right here. One right here, and you can see there's a matching one over there, and then on the back as well. And so these are kind of like little squeezy bars. Be careful you don't scratch the paint. So that's nice and sturdy in there. Let's put this guy in. So again, arrows point towards the front, squeeze down a little bit, and it pops right in. Perfect. This one is a little bit tricky. Okay, we're starting basically from the front again. So you'll notice these little arrows. Oh, sorry, like right there. I was looking at that arrow, but that's where it locks into place. So these little arrows means, again, it goes towards the front of the car. And you'll notice there's slots for a little metal bars right here that'll fit into there and in the rear. And so this can be a bit of a bear. There we go. Okay. There we go. And hear that? It just locked into place. Okay, and with this, you basically roll it over, boop, just like that. Don't worry that it's wrinkled right now, because as soon as we lock it down on this side, you'll be okay. So again, you see these little bumps, arrows towards the front of the car, which if you put that side on correctly, don't need to worry about. So this, be sure to roll it down, and then, boop, just like that. Now it's firm. Let's go for a drive with the top on so you can see if it's just as loud. Small hint, it is. Okay guys, so the top is up. I just rolled up the windows. Also a side note, this car does have air conditioning and heat. And if you want to enjoy either one of those, point it directly towards your feet, because these vents here don't really do anything, these vents here, even though they look like they should. Okay, so just before we go, a slight chat about headroom. Now me, I don't really need to worry about headroom in any car I drive. You can see there's like a foot above me. And again, I'm just a hair over 5 feet. Now Dion's a little bit of a different story. He's maybe got 2 to 3 inches. He's kind of got a little bit of a European body, so which means he's a little bit longer waisted than his legs. So we always have trouble kind of finding cars where he actually fits in. But if he fits in this car and you're, you know, I've had friends that are 6'4" and over too, so it is possible. I'm not gonna say who can and can't drive the car. Okay, let's get going. Okay guys, so we're cruising with the top up. We're gonna go ahead and roll up the windows. So to be honest, obviously there's still kind of an engine drone noise, but it's not as terrible as you might think, because the top is actually like 2 layers of fabric. It's not just like a single layer. So it works pretty well. Again, if you do listen to the radio in this, you are gonna have to turn it up most of the way, like I normally do if there's nobody riding with me. Oh, there's a deer. Oh dear. But yeah, so that's basically what we're looking at. And we have the air conditioning blowing at our feet right now. Thank goodness. But overall, this is a fun little car. I wouldn't exactly call it economical, but if you can find it for the right price, I think it's definitely worth it. We really got lucky with ours. We got it for a decent price. The guy was just looking to offload it. And for the price we got, this is one car that I never regret buying. It's just so much fun. And even now, even though it's a 2005, people still stare at it like it's brand new. Plus, the fact that they actually discontinued Lotus makes this car even more valuable. So my advice to you is to buy a Lotus. If you're into uncomfortable cars that are still kind of fun. I love it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this walk-around tour of the Lotus for R&D Garage. Now you know the drill. You subscribe to R&D Garage, and please, please, please like, share, and comment on all my videos, because literally every time I get that email notification, I'm just like, yes, someone else commented. So yeah, it makes me happy. It's the little things. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you very soon, hopefully with dirty hands. Take care, you guys.